Hello everyone, welcome to Tuesday's Instagram Live yoga class. Thank you for joining. My name is Donna, and although I've taught a lot of classes over the years, I've never taught a live online class. So thank you to Tuesday for allowing me this opportunity to learn, to grow, and to share this practice. During today's 45-minute class, we'll be building a flow that will have options along the way, so it makes it accessible for all. And before we begin, I think it's important for all of us to remember that our yoga practice never expects us to be more than we are, but it does expect us to honor ourselves wherever we are on this journey. Let's begin placing ourselves upon the mat in any seated position. So whether we're seated with legs crossed or legs extended, begin to find ourselves. Sit bones pressing downward, lifting up, and then taking the thumbs, pressing them into the hip crease. And notice as we inhale, we'll be drawing ourselves to our full height. From here we can relax the hands upon the knees or in the lap. And we'll begin practice today in breath focus. So I do encourage each of us to go ahead and close our eyes. It just helps eliminate visual distractions, visual stimulation. And as we focus upon the breath, the inhalation and exhalation through the nose, that gives us the quickest way to move ourselves onto the mat, to calm the mind, and to move ourselves away from the busyness of the day. So simply following the breath, the inhalation, noticing the sensation and coolness of the breath across the back of the throat, and then exhaling. Relaxing the forehead, the corners of our eyes, and knowing that within every yoga practice, we use the breath as our guide. Reason being is that our breath is personal. For each of us have a unique habitual pattern of breath. It's also a practical way to place our focus. And our breath is always present. The three parts to the breath, the inhalation and exhalation, is also separated by that slight pause. So for the next couple of breath cycles, let us inhale, swallow, and then exhale. Let's do that again. Inhale, swallow, and exhale. We can come back to the habitual pattern of our breath and then begin to move the head. Maybe one ear tips upward and then the other. Maybe we draw half circles with the head. The feeling along the neck, pleasurable as we begin to move and understand the sensations that speak to us. When the chin begins to near the chest, let us hold that position. Bring the hands to rest near the center of the heart. Slight pressure between the palms with a lift of the elbows. And for now, we have no responsibilities, no obligations other than to ourselves. With this next inhalation, let us press upward, slowly open the gaze. And as we exhale, allow the fingertips to reach behind the plane of the body. Come back to nod the chin. Let us continue. Our breath takes us upward, lifting, extending, and then release. Exhale. Let's each do that a couple more times, following the movement of our breath. And then, as we exhale, let us place the right hand upon the mat. Inhale, sweeping left, lateral opening. Exhale, come back to sit, full height. Inhale, sweep. Exhale. This time we'll inhale. Hold this position. Gaze upward toward the elbow. Breathing into the space of the left side. Then let's look at the right knee, taking that left hand to the knee. Inhale, sweeping right. Exhaling as we come rounding the upper back. With inhalation, we'll lift the arms, elbows shifting upward, and then hinging forward as we begin to open the low back. We'll feel space across the heart center. Inhale, come back. And as we exhale, we'll place the left hand. Inhale, sweeping, lateral opening. Inhale, sweep. Last time, right arm sweeps up and over. Breathing into the space of the right side, looking in that direction. Then gaze at the left knee, place that hand. Left arm sweeps. As we come forward, we'll start to feel that rounding in the back, drawing the navel in. With inhalation, lift. Exhalation, hinge. Very nice. Let us inhale, come back to sit. And then any way we're comfortable, let's move ourselves onto a position of our hands and knees. So as we place the wrists underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the hips for just a moment, let's reverse the position of our hands. So spending a lot of time on a keyboard or in a position, let's just simply reverse that, noticing how that feels. We can keep the hands in this position beginning cat-cow, or if it feels more comfortable, let's reverse that position. In cat-cow, we'll be moving and articulating the spine, inhaling. Exhaling into cat. Again, use the flow of our breath. Inhale as we open the front of the body, tailbone, heart center, lift. The head and tailbone become heavy in cat. And in this position, let's bring the back to neutral. Extend the left foot back. Left arm sweeps upward into this variation of side plank. Then allow the leg to float. A little bit of balance. And to open up that hip crease, let's bend the knee. Take hold of the top of the foot. That leg comes back to horizontal and press that hip forward. Come back to refloat. And then as we place the hand, left leg extends. Pull that knee toward the nose. Little bit of core. Then place the knees. Tuck the toes under to open the balls of the feet. We'll hold this position, hover the knees ever so slightly over the mat. Navel up and in. Then release the knees. Let's sit back in child's pose. This position is flexion of the full body. And as we fold upon ourselves, know that if arms are comfortable, extended, or not, feel free to place the arms wherever we're comfortable. Child's pose is a position where we can rest. We can come to this position anytime throughout the practice. It's also a replacement for downward facing dog or even hands and knees. From child's pose, let us walk the fingertips forward. Come back to the position. Tuck toes under. This is our first down dog. So allow the heels to relax, maybe pedal. And then find ourselves pressing back into downward facing dog. We feel the length of the legs, the head naturally placed. With inhalation, let's lift the heels. Look at the right hand, and then replace that hand with foot, allowing the knee to sink. We can stay here or rise up into our kneeling lunge position. Again, opening up the hip flexor. A contraction allows that opening. And then we'll frame the foot. Let's rock back and forward using movement to warm to open. And just begin to feel where that hamstring is this morning. Coming back. Let's walk to the inside, lift the hips into standing straddle splits, hanging heavy here, allowing the length of the back, neck, and head to simply dangle. And then we'll be walking toward the left. Come back into a position of downward facing dog. Once again, pedaling the heels. As we revisit postures, we'll notice change. Pressing back into downward facing dog. Come back into a position of hands and knees. On this side, let's extend. Float the right arm upward into this variation of side plank. Float the leg. And to open up that hip, hand takes the top of the foot. We come back to push the hip forward. Heel does not have to touch the hamstring, but we're moving in that direction. Let us refloat. Come back to hands and knees, leg extended, and then pull that knee in toward the nose. Let's place the knee one more time, sitting back into child's pose. And then, just to begin feeling the weight bearing of the wrists that may come with our vinyasa, let us inhale into a kneeling plank position. Exhale, come back to child's pose. Inhale. So this variation of a plank position can be used in our vinyasa. Maybe some of us want to add a little yogi push-up, dropping the elbows. But we prep for our flow by gentle movements, again, honoring ourselves for where we're at. And then let us each meet back in downward facing dog. Heels lift. Look at the left hand and replace the hand with foot. Drop the knee. Inhale, rising up, or stay supported. A contraction, opening up that hip flexor. And then, to engage that hamstring, we may choose to rock back and forward. Coming back forward into that kneeling lunge, we'll walk around. Let's take that shape again of standing straddle splits. Toes will turn forward, dropping length into the back, neck, and head, and maybe dangling, just adding any movement that feels good, that feels that release, the separation of the vertebrae. And then from here, let's soften the knees. Inhale as we rise up to a 5-pointed star. A few sunflowers. The toes will turn outward. Exhale, sit. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale. Couple more times. And then, toward the right, let us cartwheel. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. So for the first flow, we won't necessarily add that vinyasa, but let's see if we can find more sensation in the legs. Let's bend the knees deeply so that the ribs or torso almost touch the thighs. Index finger and thumb press, and let's re-lengthen our legs. Maybe a different feeling, maybe a different sensation. Heels lift. Look forward at the hands. Our right foot replaces the right hand. We'll be rising up into a high lunge. Let's turn on that leg. So we're lifting, using the quadricep to lift and lengthen. Arm positions, wherever we're comfortable. From high lunge, warrior two, let's open. As we align ourselves with the length of the mat, wingspan full, gaze over the fingertips in front. And again, we're using an active back leg. Turning the palm of that hand over, reverse warrior. Lateral opening of the right side. Breathe into the space as we can continue to sit into the strength of the legs. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Let's move into moon, elbows drawn into the back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, elbows in. Couple more times. Then we'll be cartwheeling again, meeting in downward facing dog. Hips are light, heels heavy, index finger and thumb pressing into the mat. Building the flow on this side, heels lift, gaze forward, replace the left foot and hand. Inhale, rise up, high lunge. Lifting, lengthening. Warrior two, as we open, float the arms, shoulder blades relax. Gazing forward. The palm turns, sweeping into reverse warrior. Again, that lateral opening, breathing into the space. Let us inhale, 5-pointed star, exhaling, falling into standing straddle splits. And then take the left hand, pushing the floor away. Let's sweep toward the right in a bend and twist, lifting. And then switching sides. Inhale, sweep, length of back, neck, head. Releasing, we'll walk toward the right and step back into downward facing dog. So our flow begins, but for some of us, we might want to use a Vinyasa flow. So inhale into plank, top of push-up. Maybe toes, maybe knees. Exhale, chaturanga, lowering, lifting into cobra or upward facing dog. Let us press back. Downward facing dog. Heels lift. Right foot replaces right hand. Inhale, rise up. Let's lift the front heel. So a little bit of balance on the balls of the feet. Opening into warrior two. We roll the back edge of the foot. Lightness through the instep. Inhale, reverse warrior. And then move into extended angle. Light placement. We're at length from heel through the head. Cartwheeling. Coming back to the straddle position, let's walk that hand toward the foot and now sweep into a windmill. Maybe a little bit deeper of a twist. Releasing. Step back. Downward facing dog. Again, we may choose to stay in down dog. We may find hands and knees or child's pose, or we may flow from plank to crocodile, upward facing dog. Come back, downward facing dog. Heels lift. Left foot replaces left hand. Rise up, high lunge. Lift the front heel. Little bit of balance, reminding ourselves to turn on or activate that back quadricep. Opening into warrior two. Reverse warrior. When ready, extended angle. So the support we use on our forearm is feather light. We're lifting the ribs away from that thigh. Standing straddle splits. As we cartwheel, we come back again to length. Walking hand toward the opposite foot. A little bit of a deeper twist. Then, toward the right foot, downward facing dog. Hips light, heels heavy. A choice to flow, a choice to stay. Meeting back in downward facing dog. To begin the flow this time, let's let the right leg fly away. So we're still level through the hips. Maybe you get deeper into that heel. Then lift, look toward the front hands. Replace. Inhale, rise up. Lift the front heel. Let's release the arms into chest expansion in this position, squeezing the shoulder blades. Again, if that front heel is more comfortable placed, we can release. Let us inhale as we exhale, opening into warrior two. Let's inhale into reverse. Come back to exhale in two. Do that again. One more time. And then into extended angle. Lift, lengthen. Look at the right foot. Let's cartwheel the left arm, lifting that heel. We'll be turning away, but let's twist in this low lunge position. Left quadricep still active. Then let's place the hands on the inside, drop the knee, and walk that foot toward the edge of the mat to release that hip. So my knee is falling toward the wall. We can even use the knife edge of the foot. We can stay. We can relax. Find what works for us, the sensations that we feel. Let us come back. Frame the foot. Lift the hips. Standing straddle splits. Walking toward the left foot. Step back. Downward facing dog. Another opportunity to stay. To rest in child's pose or to flow. Fly away. Left leg. Gaze forward. That foot replaces the hand. Inhale, rise up. A choice to lift the heel. chest expansion. In this position, think of the heart center, the collarbone opening. In any balanced position, find a focal point that will hold the gaze. Let us inhale, opening into Warrior Two. And then, an inhalation, reverse, 2, and continue. We'll meet in extended angle, light placement, lifting, ribs away from thigh. Looking at the left foot, let us cartwheel. Lifting, we'll come into this position and twist toward the back, lifting the ribs away from that thigh. And then, as we return, hands on the inside, we can drop the knee. As we walk the foot toward that back edge of the mat, again, feel free to use that knife edge to let that knee lay open. And maybe walk ourselves into any position where we feel that sense of release, relaxation. Let us come back. Hips lift, standing straddle splits. Let us inhale all the way up into a 5-pointed star and come back to the moon. So we're moving in and out. Warmth. One more time. Then, cartwheel. Toward the right foot, we're meeting in downward facing dog toward the end of the mat. A choice to stay in downward facing dog, a position of strength or flow. Then, let the left leg fly away. In a plank position, pull that knee toward the elbow. Sweep the knee toward the left, toward the right, fly away. Gaze forward, right foot replaces left hand. Inhale, rise up. Let us open into Warrior Two. Inhale, lift. Let's include extended angle. Inhale, sweep. Exhale. Couple more. Then come back to reverse warrior. Lengthen the right leg. So we have length of legs. We're prepping for triangle. So the legs are at length. We'll refloat the arms. Begin to reach that length and then slide. We can place the hand on the shin. There may be a block that finds its way underneath the hand, but it's lifting, lengthening. Then cartwheel. Toes will turn to point forward to allow the hips to close. In this position, maybe swaying gently side to side, releasing. Then walking toward the left, step back, downward facing dog. Stay, rest in child's pose, or maybe a vinyasa. Meeting back in downward facing dog, left leg flies away. In a plank position, left knee, left elbow. Sweep it to the other side. Come back to left. Fly away. Gaze forward. Left foot replaces the right hand. Rise up. High lunge. Warrior two. Opening. Reverse. Extended angle. Reverse. Extended angle. So feel the lateral lifting. We'll meet back in reverse. Lengthening the front leg. And then floating the arms. The reach begins, the extension of the back, and then the sliding. Maybe we find support upon the shin, or not. Maybe we find ourselves sliding. Let us cartwheel. Turning toes, standing straddle splits, and simply hanging heavy. Then, toe heel the feet to a position where we're going to drop into a squat. So the toes will turn out, the hips will drop. Feel free to remain supported. We can come to this position. Elbows may open. Maybe the hands at heart center in prayer. Maybe we release. We'll feel the full weight of the hips, so whatever works. Maybe even rocking side to side. Then, let's take left hand and place it somewhere near the right foot and open into a twist out of this position. Come back, walking toward the other side, sweep upward. And then, as we find ourselves in this position, float the hips, toe heel the feet in to our standing forward fold. This is not about folding in half. It's about our ability to release, relax, even our facial expression. Drawing the navel in. With exhalation, feel our heaviness. And again, do we choose to sway, to flow? Then, from forward fold, let's inhale to a halfway lift and exhale into chair. We haven't used this today, but pulse, pulse, pulse. Hands in chair can be anywhere that we're comfortable, but come to hold, lift the right heel, and from here we're going to rise up into egret. Then cross ankle over knee and begin to sit. This is a preparatory hip opener. So allow the foot to be flexed. We can hold hand to heel and knee. We can place the hands wherever we're comfortable. The deeper we sit, the more we're going to feel that opening. Let us inhale, come back to egret. Lift the knee just a bit higher. And then come back to sit into chair. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Holding this position, lift the left heel. And when ready, rise up, grow tall. Again, find that focal point somewhere which helps us hold. Cross ankle over knee and begin to sit. Hand placement wherever we're comfortable. Let us inhale, rise up. Lift the knee a little bit higher. Then Come back to our standing position, toe heeling the feet out. Let us inhale. As we exhale, fold. We'll be walking ourselves toward the right foot, meeting back in downward facing dog. So as we move to the mat and opening postures, know that even in these postures, there are options. As we move into a plank position, let's take the right leg, tuck it under so the foot nears the edge of the mat. We're moving into pigeon. So if this is comfortable, we can allow the leg to trail behind us. We can also use or find support between that hip. If it's uncomfortable, feel free to draw that back leg in, more of a 90-90 position, and then simply come to rest over the front leg. So in pigeon, if that sensation for us is pleasurable, we can use gravity in this position to rest and relax. Opening postures are generally held for a bit longer. We've used postures to open. We've used movement to build. And now we settle into stillness. It's a great place to remind ourselves to come back to the flow of our breath. Maybe even adding that swallow between the inhalation and the exhalation. From here, let's place the hands using the strength of the upper body. We're moving back into downward facing dog, so allow length and energy to return. Pedaling, walking. And then the opposite side, so sweeping left leg toward the edge of the mat. Foot is flexed. And again, if we need padding, and we do have a yoga block handy, we could block the hip. We could use a blanket, a pillow. But the sensation of gravity and time spent in posture may also be pleasurable. Relaxing the upper body. And sometimes it's just noticing that we can create more softness through the hip just by relaxing. Let us walk ourselves upward. We'll sit off to the side of that hip and then come back to a seated position. This time, let's extend the legs, pushing the heels away. If we need that support underneath the knees, feel free to place soft fists or the hands. Let us inhale, and as we exhale, just begin to hinge forward. Thinking of the head moving toward the heels or even the heart center reaching forward. Always, if necessary, find a place of support. Then, walking ourselves upward, let's draw the right knee in. Whether we place that foot next to or on the other side, we're going to twist. It's about finding sit bones, still grounding. So in inhalation, we again extend and lift. With exhalation, we can wrap. And then the arm behind us becomes a place of leverage. So allow ourselves to twist, feeling that sensation, the pressure, the compromising of the organ body. Cervical spine is meant for movement. If we're comfortable, we can allow the chin to move toward the chin behind us. Let us return and switch sides. Drawing the left leg in. Inhale, sitting tall. As we exhale, maybe we wrap or hug. Maybe we use the length of the arm. The arm behind us, a place of support. And again, we feel ourselves massaging inner organs. Chin may move behind. Let us return. Before final relaxation, if there's any other movement that we feel that we need, even moving ourselves back into downward facing dog, do so. We could sit in butterfly using this position. We could place the feet out in front of us and just windshield wiper the legs. Any other movement that we feel that we need as we prepare. Then, let's move ourselves so that we have the space of the mat to fill up behind us. Taking care of the back, help ourselves into a position or one vertebrae and then the other. As we find light placement of the back of the head, feet may move to the outside edges of the mat with the knees tipping in. That helps protect the low back. Maybe some of us will rest in reclined butterfly. If we extend one leg and then the other, the feet may fall open. For just a moment, let us each contract the glutes, the seat, and then allow the belly of the muscle to relax. Feel the hips soften, wash away. We may use the elbows to lift the heart center, shoulder blades retract, and then return. That will also create a little bit of openness across the front of the throat. As we move into stillness, we may notice the mind becoming more active. Placement of focus upon the breath. A quick way to allow ourselves to step away from the busyness, to turn inward. It's very interesting that we can't breathe deeply and worry at the same time. Without disturbing the peace and calm that we have created within ourselves. Let us draw one knee into the chest. And then the other. We can rock gently side to side. We can draw the forehead toward the knees. And as we roll to one side and help ourselves back into a seated position, let us bring the hands, the fingertips, the heels of the hands, the slight lift to the elbows. Allow an inhalation and allow a letting go breath. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. And as we exhale, this letting go breath, let the forehead nod toward the index fingers, the thumbs toward the breastbone. There is a light and energy in me that sees, honors, and bows to the light in all of you. Namaste. Thank you very much to all of you for joining. Again, my name is Donna. Thank you to Stay for having me, for allowing this experience. Enjoy. Take care. Bye-bye.